Well, when there's been a recession, it has typically been true that both the 2s, 10s and the forward spread have collapsed to zero or gone negative. That's this inversion. It has never really been the case that 2s, 10s inverts while the forward spread stays up and you have a recession.
So that's about the market and how close Chumma thinks we are to a recession. As much as fear there is in the stock markets, the present days have a lot of fear embedded into the crypto markets as well. Investing in crypto is certainly one of the riskiest things that you could ever do. This is mostly because of the volatile nature that cryptocurrencies generally have. This volatility has led to a lot of criticisms in terms of the returns that one may get through cryptocurrencies. Though it is a fact that not everyone makes a good profit out of it, there are a good number of people who do make a good amount of it at all times. For today's video, let us consider the bad part about cryptocurrencies and see what Chumma has to say about it. Let's have a look at what is going on in the market in greater detail. When we look at all of the details that we have coming from the market, we're not really going in the right direction. The picture we are getting sounds a bit too murky. As much as we feel things are inappropriate, we need to have a look at the few fundamentals of the market. Before we get to this assumption that the market is really murky, let us now look at one other issue that Chumma has been speaking about, but this time specifically for the cryptocurrency market.
We average, I think, 1 hack a week in the crypto ecosystem, right? This beanstalk hack happened, just a few days ago? That was almost $200 million. Last month, Axie Infinity, what was that? Almost $600 million. So there's a lot of stuff where in the normal securities world, like if you're a director of a company and you don't have these adequate procedures, and Brian, you live this every day, where there's like an audit committee and there's somebody that chairs audit that has to go and think about information security and blah, blah, blah. And all these disclosures have to happen.
Insurance.
But all these disclosures are really about actual work being done. If you don't do that work and then you get hacked, you're actually liable, right?
So when you lose your money to a hack in the cryptocurrency, where do you go to get your money back? This is something that raises a lot of questions against the government and makes us feel like asking the government to make certain laws that help back these issues up. It is a fact that a lot of people in this world have a great understanding of the manner in which the cryptocurrency works. Things are very discreet, though they are public. That's how complex they have been designed. The complexity, though, has its advantages, comes with a few disadvantages as well. These are the hacks that Chumma just spoke about. One needs to constantly be aware of the money being invested in the cryptocurrencies. Unlike the stocks and markets, where there's a person responsible for any money you invest in, and the security is always to the top level. This is not the case when it comes to cryptocurrencies. This is one of the reasons why we see cryptocurrencies being hacked by hackers so often. There isn't anyone to take care of it in the manner in which stocks are taken care of. These problems have the potential to become one of the biggest ones in the world. Never to forget the sheer volume of money invested in the industry. People throughout the world may incur huge losses through each one of these hacks. This is a proof that was earliest disclosed through Chumma's words. The quantum of money that is being stolen through such hacks has tortured the hundreds of millions mark. This is where you are being robbed. With no ways to litigate or to claim your money back, and with the fact that a huge number of these founders are simply unknown, your chances of retrieving the money you lost once are really low. Now let's look at the brighter side. It was noticed that the Axie Infinity creator raised a total of $150 million to compensate those who lost their money owing to the Ronin hack that took over $625 million within a few minutes. One of the things that they use to make sure that the image of cryptocurrencies is constantly maintained is to come up with such compensations. Even though the amount is not even 1/4 of the total amount that was lost, people do feel good for the gesture being shown. However, the amount being stolen from you remains the same. This is what we want to educate the investors. That is to always have a look at the kind of security that is being promised by the cryptocurrency in which you invest. Moreover, even the nice gesture is not going to be constant with all the cryptocurrencies. On the flip side, however, we see that SEC considers all of them as securities. This is also a very wrong approach to consider, as it demeans the real purpose that they were first introduced for. As far as cryptocurrencies are considered, chances are that they may be a few different regulators working together on it. Giving the power to a sole authority may not be the best way to proceed with it. For a few cryptocurrencies, say for example Bitcoin and Ethereum, nature does sound like commodities, so regulating them on that basis may be the correct way to proceed. On the other hand, these so-called security tokens could be handled by the SEC. The laws being followed by these bodies are the ones that were drafted back in the 1930s. We'll be speaking about the Securities Act in a bit, and you'll see how greatly it affects the present system. So the government will need to come up with a test that will help them determine whether the said cryptocurrency is a commodity, a security, a currency, or something that does not touch any one of them. This is one of the most important elements here, as it makes use of certain important aspects within the cryptocurrency market. In most cases, a person invests in cryptocurrency because he wants to see the cryptocurrency grow in value. This is the ultimate objective that investors have as they put in their hard-earned money into cryptocurrencies. One of the key ways they've suggested to get rid of most of these issues is to make use of the Howey test. The test here is fairly simple. It refers to the US Supreme Court case for determining whether a transaction qualifies as an investment contract and therefore would be considered a security. This will then be subject to disclosure and registration requirements under the Securities Act of 1933 and also under the Securities Exchange Act. So this test is all it takes for any investment to be considered as a security. All they need to prove is the Howey test, and things will be clarified in a much detailed manner. One needs to check if there is a common authority, or in other words, if the said investment is centralized or decentralized. One thing that has been understood through all these steps here is that we need some very good policymakers or lawyers who have a good eye for creating certain rules that would later be circulated and reviewed. This will certainly help the crypto companies flourish and make the mark they intend to make in this world.
If you think about where we were in November and where we are today, we've had massive exposition of inflation. We've had massive disruptions to the supply chain. We've had the beginning of a war whose end is somewhat indeterminate today. That's causing a bunch of spikes in a bunch of really critical commodities the entire world needs. We've had a Federal Reserve that went from hiking 50 or 75 basis points to hiking 200 to 250 basis points by the estimated average. And so all of these things have happened, yet the market is basically at an all-time high, plus or minus 5%.
This is what makes no sense for Chamath. We would like to leave you here with this thought. Let us know why you think the market is still making an all-time high on the charts and what is causing this pseudo-dominance in the market. We will meet you in the next video. Until then, keep investing and continue learning all you want to learn. Do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel.